Think about the last piece of content that you posted that should have performed better. It was well written, optimized, and consistent, yet still nothing happened. What if the problem isn't your content, your SEO, or the algorithm, but trust? Visibility today isn't earned by volume, it's earned by credibility. In a few minutes, I'll explain why Google now prioritizes E.E.A.T content and how ignoring it is silently killing your growth. If you're a business owner, creator, or marketer publishing content, but struggling with visibility, authority, or conversions, this episode is for you. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the E.E.A.T framework: experience, expertise, authority, and trust, and how to apply it to build credibility that compounds. Welcome back for episode 50. Whoa, we're almost a year of doing the podcast. Woohoo! It's been a bit crazy, hey? All right, so why trust is a new ranking factor? So the illusion of good content. Publishing content does not equal building authority. A brand can post consistently, they can optimize keywords and follow best practices and still struggle to earn trust. Because authority isn't created by how often you publish, it's created on why people believe you over your competitors. Content can get you the attention, but you need to have the authority because that's what earns the confidence. And without confidence, visibility doesn't compound, it just fades.
100%. And there's a few good reasons why why good content still gets ignored. The Most of the content that's out there is kind of interchangeable, so it answers the same questions, uses the same frameworks, and says nothing uniquely that person is saying. And this is probably true when people are doing a lot of research. What they're basically doing is they're just looking at what this person says, looking at what that person says, and they don't inject their own personality, their own experience and expertise into the content that they're creating.
Yep.
Information itself is abundant, and with AI and endless publishing, information alone is no longer a differentiator. You can create content so easily nowadays, and if you've got our platform, you can actually create brand aware contextual content, which is focused on your buyer personas and ICPs. So information is pretty much everywhere now. What Google are trying to do is they're trying to sort out the good from the bad, and trying to, I suppose, understand who the experts are in their field, because you generally find that a lot of that content goes into a bit more depth than a lot of the content which just kind of covers the overall concept of, say, a topic. And Google needs signals beyond words. When everyone sounds competent, Google looks for who's credible, not just what is written. So Google isn't asking what you're saying, it's asking who's saying it. And this is totally true as well with the advent of AI. And there's new things coming up, like you've probably heard some terms like, AIO and GEO and all this kind of stuff, where what's happening is AI is looking for signals, much like what Google's doing. And those signals are generally about who is this writing content, what is it, what's the topics that they're known for, who's the experts in the field and that covering that particular content, because you'll find that people will generally hone in on a particular subject or topic, if you like, and then
Yeah.
become known for that particular subject. So it's really
Yep.
important. It's really important that when you're developing content, that's expert led nowadays.
Yeah. And there's difference between just putting information out there versus being credible when you're putting that information out. The information could just be copied. You can copy exactly the same blog article that somebody's done. You can copy, the same social media post that someone's done. But it's the credibility that will really differentiate you. And the credibility has to be earned over time. It's a compound effect. It's a snowball of, consistency. And your experience is one of the biggest differentiators. And when you're speaking from experience, this happened, this is how we overcame it. That's how Google sees you as an expert. So if your content could be written by anyone, it won't stand out and it will definitely not rank.
100%. The reason Google introduced E.E.A.T content in the first place was to solve this misinformation, the low trust advice, because anybody could say it, and anonymous expertise, and you see this a lot on, influencer type websites and ads, where a lot of people they're saying things, but they're not actually telling you who they are, and they're hiding behind their company. And even on LinkedIn, like, I mean, there's people in there that maybe connect with you and they've not got a headshot, a professional headshot. I mean, that's LinkedIn 101. And so what Google is trying to do is try to eradicate the anonymous type of people in content and put the expert. And I suppose it's to reward the experts in their field. So if you're a revenue-led growth partner like Adonis, when someone asks about a revenue system, they're going to think yours, because we're the ones that's talking about it.
Yeah, and it's also to provide the accurate information for the person who's searching for the content so that it's not just putting out, misinformation or incorrect,
That's
this,
right.
that, and the next thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. And that's exactly what E.E.A.T actually measures as well. Ask, have you done the thing? Whatever it is you're talking about. Do you understand it deeply? Um, are you recognised for it? So you're not getting people that have just come out of school that don't understand it and they're trying to write content. And do people trust you? Is another thing. And people will actually build trust through more probably of an emotional connection, whereby they're seeing you on video and things like that, rather than even writing content and seeing your
Yeah.
picture, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. In a moment, we'll break down how most brands get E.E.A.T wrong, even when they think they're doing it right.
Yeah, so let's pause for a second. Now, this isn't about gaming SEO or chasing rankings. I mean, that's what black hat people do, I suppose. It's about credibility, clarity, and consistency. So let's break that down where most brands lose trust without realizing it.
Yeah. So experience why doing beats knowing. So a lot of brands go wrong when they start talking about topics instead of from experience and repeating frameworks without any context. They end up avoiding that personal insight, that connection, what really connects you to the viewer. And what Google prefers is firsthand experience, practical examples, and lessons learned. Experience can't be faked and it can't be outsourced.
And that's 100% true. And I say the same thing about this LinkedIn stuff. And I get pitched every day for people to do a LinkedIn account. And, I just, to me, it's just no, it's just fake. Yeah, it's just not real. And I know that there's only so many hours in a day, you need help and things like that. But, I think from an experience and expertise point of view, you need to be doing this input yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So expertise and authority will always, and depth of the content that you're actually discussing will always beat volume. So let's kind of break things down a bit. Let's go into expertise. So that's depth over surface level commentary. So that's understanding what it is that you're actually talking about and providing practical experience of how you overcome something or how you did something. And you'll generally find that people that have that depth of experience and expertise have clear opinions and is backed with reasons of, well, that worked because the X, Y, and Z. It's
Yeah.
not just a clear cut thing as a framework. I mean, the whole thing about frameworks is they're just frameworks. That's all they are. It's frameworks. What actually makes the difference is the action taken against that framework and what the outcomes were, and what the real experience and expertise was.
Yeah.
They have got authority, so that includes things like mentions, associations, and being consistent, being known for something specific. So you could be talking, if you're on LinkedIn, for instance, you could be talking to people within the comments. You could be talking on articles. You could be writing articles on Quora, helping people on Reddit, etc., etc. And when you start getting all these mentions about, Derek's a growth guy, he understands about revenue growth, then that's what people start to associate you with. And it's not just people; it's also AI and Google and the SEO and things like that. And it all, like you said before, Chloe, it all compounds.
Yeah.
So authority isn't self-declared; it's earned. You earn that, and you earn that through communicating with people and getting involved in the conversations.
Yeah. And trust. So, what builds the trust is transparency, consistency, and alignment between your message and your action. So, it's, saying, I'm going to do this and following through with it and getting it done. And what destroys that trust is clickbait, overpromising and underdelivering, and inconsistency. Trust is what will turn your visibility into conversions.
So how do you apply E.E.A.T in practice? So basically need to get involved with conversations. You need to show your thinking, be a thought leader, and not just talk about the conclusions. You need to talk about the whole topic and be in depth and show your expertise within that content. I'm not specifically meaning that you need to add loads of jargon in there and industry jargon and things like that. I mean actual proper experience. Show people how you did it and how you overcome whatever it is that you're talking about, or how you do it, for instance. You can tie your advice to lived experience, and you just can't buy that. You can build proof into content as well, and you can stop hiding behind generic messaging, which I see all the time. So in other words, have an opinion. Stand for something. And it's not just about you as well; it's about your business. What is it that you believe in? Like I firmly believe WordPress, for instance, is a not so good application. It was built back in the day for as a blog platform. It's never really progressed, but everybody seems to use it because marketing agencies deliver the WordPress type websites because they don't understand why they're actually delivering those sites, or probably because it's free and they can make money from it. Rather than me taking the other side of the coin and actually developing a platform for growth from the ground up, because I know that that's the best way to go, and that'll provide a better outcome than delivering a third party website, which is just a fragmentation of everything else. I digress. I digress. So you don't need more content; you need more credibility. Is what I'm saying, and that's what will help you with not just creating and executing and having evergreen E.E.A.T content, which shows your experience, your expertise, your authority, and builds trust. And that in itself should eventually compound your own business growth, your own credibility, and drive revenue for your business.
Yep. Now, this E.E.A.T that we're referring to with Google shows up in your blog articles, in all of your articles that you have on your website. It shows up in the social content you post on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everything that can get indexed on Google is going through the E.E.A.T process. So some actionable takeaways I want you guys to implement this week is audit content for real experience, strengthen authority signals, improve trust cues across platforms, publish less, but go deeper. Think long term, not algorithm first. I want you to look at your content and ask yourself, would I trust this if I didn't know who created it?
So visibility comes and goes, but credibility compounds.
Yeah.
If you found this podcast useful and the information that we are always sharing every week, subscribe to the Adonis Effect podcast. Share this episode with a creator or business owner where you think it might be able to help them, and apply one E.E.A.T improvement this week to your content. As Chloe was detailing there in the Actionable Takeaways, is look at your content and ask yourself, would I trust this if I didn't know who created it? So what to do is look at that bit of content and just apply one of the E.E.A.T improvements. Or if you feel up to it and you're confident, apply all of them. Get it resubmitted to Google Index and just watch your revenue grow.
Yeah. Awesome. So next week on the Adonis Effect, we're joined by Philip DeBella, the founder of DeBella Coffee, and we're going to unpack his journey from building a brand from the ground up to becoming one of Australia's most respected business entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about what it really takes to build credibility, scale a brand, and create a business that's not just successful, but sellable.
Awesome. Thanks,
Nice.
guys.
Bye.